But we have to be reminded that we're not alone. God is with us always. Jeremiah reminds us in chapter 20 that the Lord is with me like a mighty warrior. To go and know that God is going to be with you no matter what. You're not alone. That's really an inspiring thing to know. David said, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me." God will go through the valley with you. He always. The second thing I want to say this morning is this: those whom God calls, He equips. God would never call you to do something unless He gives you the skills and the what you need, the resources to be able to do that. Now, I do think that it's a healthy thing to realize that we're not adequate without God. To know that I can't even walk without Him holding my hand. I think that's a healthy thing. But to be able to go in the confidence that God loves me and God is going to be with me and God is going to see me through this, I think is a good thing. Those whom He calls, He equips. He told Jeremiah, "Then the Lord put out His hand and touched my mouth, and the Lord said to me, now I have put my words in your mouth." I'm just a boy, and I'm not good at speaking, and I don't know how to do this. And God says, I'm going to do it for you. I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you the resources that you need to do what I've called you to do. So God will be with you, and God will equip you. And then the third thing is this: you'll never be comfortable resisting God's call. One of the hardest thing to do is to resist God's calling on your life, or whatever that is. Whatever you're supposed to be doing, whether it's the bulletins or whatever it is, you're supposed to do that. And a miserable place to be is out of the will of God. And out of the will of God is when you're not fulfilling the purpose that God called you for. He said here to Jeremiah in chapter 20, Jeremiah says this. He said, I decided I wasn't going to speak. I just wasn't going to do it. But I will not mention him or speak any more in his name. But within me there is something like a burning fire shut up in my bones, and I am weary with holding it in, and I cannot. Jeremiah was a person who was given a task and given a word to speak. And by the way, these weren't happy words always. Jeremiah, in this passage, said that God had called Jeremiah to tear down and to destroy. But there were some joy to it too, because he was also going to rebuild and to plant. And so anytime there's a word of judgment from the Lord, there's always a word of restoration and a word of hope. God is always concerned about giving us second, third, fourth chances. But the message that Jeremiah had was not a pretty message. It was a word of judgment. And a lot of what he preached, he was known as a preacher of doom, a prophet of doom, the weeping prophet, because sometimes it's not easy and it's not fun to speak the truth in love.